Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. Saints Block Party Podcast. Appreciate you. Sorry, this mic is very sensitive. So one touch of a button and it gets muted. Adam and Wolf here coming and wanting to recap what the Saints did yesterday. Saints Block Party Podcast. Saints last night, took Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, Texas. How you feeling?
I mean, this team just so predictable, bro. It's almost unreal. It's almost unreal how predictable they are. You guys let me know if my sound's okay. They're so predictable that you start to think they can't be that predictable. Like they can't go OT again in the first, right? After all these times, they're not about to do that again, right? And we saw a lot of the mocks from the local media running up with Josh Connolly and Kevin Banks. It's like, okay. And then they actually do it, and it's like, of course they did. Of course they picked Kelvin Banks. And you don't even get the Will Campbell.
No.
You don't even get the Will Campbell LSU bump. It's like Kelvin Banks. Another, he plays left tackle, but it's probably a guard. So you're taking a guard at 9. It's just such a Saints pick.
And I've tweeted about this. I don't mind Kelvin Banks Jr. in a vacuum. Don't mind him as a player. And we talked about this on our last episode that we recorded, that with Ryan Ramczyk retiring, how he had, he was a cautionary tale of you can't have that rash reaction to a draft pick when he's drafted. And in theory, right, this could be, you could have Fuaga at right tackle, they move him potentially to right tackle. And if they want to put Banks, put him at left tackle, maybe they have their bookends. And if they have their bookend tackles for the future, you good to go. The thing that just annoys me about it is the process of how they get here.
Yes.
And it all goes back to Trevor Penning, right? So Mickey Loomis at that pre-draft presser on Wednesday is talking about they still believe in their evaluation and their process. And he's saying that in front of the media, and I'm on the plane. I'm like, how can you say that with a straight face? In 2022, you traded a future first round pick to have two first rounders in 2022, and one of those picks became Trevor Penning, who, if that pick would have hit, if Trevor Penning would have hit, then you don't draft Kelvin Banks Jr. last night,
right?
But because he doesn't hit, you didn't pick up his 5th year option, and now you're back in the same place. And another thing that annoys me about the process is, if the Saints it feels like the Saints feel like the only way that you can build an elite offensive line is that you have to get elite offensive linemen in the first round.
Thank you for saying that, bro. Thank you for saying that shit. I mean, I get it. You target the best offensive lineman you can get, so you would assume they'd be in the first round. But you don't even have to look at other teams, because I know the Eagles, they built their team, first round, second round, 7th round. You can look at the Saints when the Saints had great offensive lines.
Carl Nicks,
Jari Evans, Tyron Olmstead was a third rounder. Stitchcomb was I don't remember what pick he was. Zach Strief was a 7th round pick. Started for years. You got Bushrod was a 5th round pick.
Come on, bro.
You draft talent and you coach it up. What happened to that? When did they lose that recipe? At some point, it's they have to feel like they got to go back to the well in the first round to at least have a chance to get a good offensive line built. And it's just and we've yet to see that offensive line come to fruition.
And that's the thing. If you could show me that the offensive line is a top 5 unit, a top 10 unit, and it's a weapon, I'd be like, all right. And it's funny too, because thinking back when we went on the NFL Daily after the Dallas game, I said on Greg's podcast, I said, man, the Saints got a top 5 offensive line in the league, and then shit blew up. So maybe
the bones, maybe it's there, and that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's what Kellen Moore maybe looked at and said, look, there's a potential for a good offensive line here. And I talked about it too. Like, even going back earlier this, summer, I'm just like, it's not a terrible offensive line. It's like, it's one of the things where you get the right puzzle pieces in place. It has potential to be like a good offensive line. You got Fuad, who showed promise as a rookie. You got, Eric McCoy, oft injured, but when he's healthy, he's one of the best centers in the league. Cesar Ruiz, average guard, but he's a decent starting guard player. So, but left guard and the pinning spot, the right tackle, are just huge issues.
Huge issues. I don't know. I guess there was someone in the chat, PJ. I don't know who PJ was, but Mark got him out the chat. So
okay.
Appreciate you, Mark.
Shout out PJ. Whatever you say, bro. I never see it.
We're PJ Williams. Here. I wish I. It's kind of hard with the setup that it is right now, but I wish I could share. Someone said that we set up in the Dennis Allen chair special, like the two chair special, bro. I wish I could share the picture of it. So to me, this was the story. This was the story of the night, bro. When they panned to the Saints draft room, there was no celebration, bro. There was no celebration. There was no high fives. There was no hugs. There was no daps. There was no fist bumps. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. And you juxtapose that to literally every other team that made a draft pick last night. Every team. Everyone else in their front offices. And maybe, I'm not saying every team is a harmonious unit.
Right.
But at least on draft night, it seemed like they were. I have been saying on this podcast, my friend has been telling me for the last 2 to 3 plus years, there is so much dysfunction and messiness and everything going on in the front office. I heard that 2 weeks leading up to the draft, like, there's just so much there's no cohesion. And that picture was the perfect screenshot and example of it. And you saw Jeff Ireland, who was almost like, felt like he was social distance away from Kellen Moore.
We're over here just like, it looked like the Last Supper, like, the painting, like the Last Supper painting, and you got Judas over there and all that. It's like, what is going on here, bro? And look, we've been reporting on the podcast that there's been dysfunction, there's been division in the front office. Of course there has. You had a situation where the starting quarterback is injured, and not everybody knew it in the front office, in the coaching staff. Not everybody knew it.
Oh, shout out to Alt Breer, who reported a couple of days ago, literally a couple of days ago in his article, that before things went south, that Derek Carr went to management and asked for a raise. And so I got clarification on that this morning, that not only did he ask for a raise, this man went to Mickey in the front office. Derek Carr had the nerve to ask for a $50 million
50 M's, man.
50 M's, Ryan. He said
50 M's, bro.
He said, I'm 14-13 as your starting quarterback, nigga. I need $10 more million.
Injured 3 seasons in a row. Hadn't thrown 30 touchdowns ever, I think. Well, maybe 1 year, like 10 years ago, maybe. Like, what's $50 million? But like I said, I said in the Discord,
yep,
that was 100% of, look, I'm going to ask for something crazy so I could be like, well, y'all won't give it to me, so I'm out of here. I want out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he knew he's not getting $50 million from anybody, from nobody.
Brian said, I know y'all lying. No, bro. What we got to lie about?
50 M's. Bro.
It was reported by Albert Breer in Sports Illustrated. He just didn't have the number. I'm telling you what the number is.
50 M's. Loomis said, take these 40 M's. You don't have to
so that's the crazy part, right?
That's the crazy part.
he asked for 50, you would think you'd be like, no, I'm not paying you that. Mickey said, here, I'm going to give you 40 sight unseen. You don't got to get a physical.
You got no physical. You ain't got to be here. You gotta show up for nothing.
Brock Purdy about to get $60 million. He done went to a Super Bowl. Took his team to the NFC Championship. And here's listen, it's the Banks pick was one pick. There's still a lot of draft left to happen.
Tons of draft, man.
And so we'll see what the full vision is. But Kellen came from Philly. Daniel Jeremiah was beating the table about, he felt that Kellen was gonna take what he saw in Philly, whether it be offensive line, defensive line, kind of build that direction.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Makes sense.
It does. I thought the most interesting thing, the two most interesting things about last night to me was the mood of the draft room, because you could feel and sense the tension in the draft room when the pick was made. And kind of along with that is the fact that the Banks pick was a Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis collaboration. One of the biggest questions I had coming into this draft was how much input was Mickey Loomis going to have in the draft process? Because we know last year, after he had a debacle in 2023, when his hands were all over the draft, it seemed like he got pushed out. 2024, he got pushed out the draft room almost completely. I wonder if Dave Ziegler no longer being in the building had something. I don't know that. Those are just theories. So then to hear that last night that it was a Kellen and Mickey collaboration of Banks being the pick, it's like, oh, so now Mickey has some say again in the draft room. And to know that, so I asked my friend, I said, well, what did Jeff want? What did Jeff Ireland want? And I was told Jeff Ireland wanted either Jalen Walker, who went to the Falcons, or Mikael Williams, both Georgia players, edge rushers, who went to the 49ers.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And look, we could hop on who we want. Jalen Walker was like one of my top
draft bait, bro.
2 or 3 favorite players in the draft.
And I didn't have a lot of draft bays in this draft. Like he was one of them.
He was one of them, man. The Falcons, bro.
He goes to our division rival, and he's going to be going against the player in college that he terrorized when they played, bro.
If I'm not crazy, I think Kelvin Banks gave up 1 sack last year, and that 1 sack was the Jalen Walker. So how do you look at that? On one level, it's like, wow, it's impressive you only gave up 1 sack. And it's like, you give it up to the dude we're going to play twice a year and probably going to play there 10 years. And, like, they finally got their, like, impact defensive player that they've been looking for years. Just pissed me off.
Our dude Dante say, when the Falcons play the Saints, Jeff Ireland going to be in the suite. And if Jalon put some hot sauce on Kelvin, bro, he gonna be in that bitch with his arms crossed, like, y'all wanted this nigga, huh?
This what y'all wanted.
This what y'all wanted, huh?
This what y'all wanted?
Okay.
Is this your kid?
Shout out to Malik J for the $4.99 super chat. He said, "Get Carr out of here, please." Shout out to y'all. Appreciate you.
He out, bro. He getting out.
When it be okay? So okay, let me pull out my phone.
Thank you, Justin.
Justin Cash, $2 super chat. Expectations for round 2. Sanders, Trey Harris. I'll get to that.
We're gonna get to that.
Going up, what I was told. Someone had a theory that they told my friend, and I don't know if this would happen, but it would be also the most Saints thing ever, because it's not sourced. I want to be clear in saying that, but just wouldn't it be something if like the Saints passed on quarterbacks in both the first round and the second round, and then like Carr's shoulder magically just like start feeling better, bruh?
Oh,
he's like, this don't hurt as bad as I thought.
That would just add extra suckage to everything. Because like the one positive thing we're holding on to, like even if they don't draft a quarterback high this year, is like, well, at least Carr is gone. Carr in the DA era is over. If you run that back, that is just like, you know what? I might not be on a podcast this season. I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
I do wonder if this, because I wonder at this point if Jeff Ireland feels like why am I here?
Real. Like what is? I mean, he a cold GM. Basically not going anywhere, man. And you know you can't even stand on the hill that like these are my picks, you know. But on the flip side, if that was Kellen's guy, like
it was
Kevin Banks, he's the new head coach.
Yep.
So if that's what he wants to do, he should be
100%. 100%.
Now, how much was it him versus Loomis? That's the question.
That is my biggest concern. My biggest concern. And the only reason why it's my concern is just because of hearing about Kellen's personality.
Right.
My concern is that Loomis may have gave Kellen that Wanda juice at the beginning of like Age of Ultron of how Wanda did Tony. And just kind of just whispered something and it's like, oh, yeah, it's Kevin Banks. And it just,
she do that fast walk up.
Yeah. Right. And Kellen was like, oh, okay, show Jerry. Oh, offensive tackle. Yeah, offensive tackle. Yeah, I get it. I'm not saying this is source of information. I'm not saying this is what happened. It could 100% came from Kellen himself. But that's my fear and concern is he's so collaborative that maybe
he got nudged.
Because we know he got nudged already because of the whole Derek Carr thing.
Right.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. So I want to ask the question. Let's see. It was about Will Johnson. I mean, I want to address the Will Johnson thing. Because there we go. J-Rock. Will Johnson's still on the board. Do you think he could fall to the Saints? I do think he could fall to the Saints because Will Johnson fell out of the first round for a multitude of reasons. One, he has awful physicals. Like awful physicals. Two, the concern for him is he doesn't compete. And there are, like, I'm not going to dive into like the whole thing about it, but there are very, very valid concerns and vetted concerns that he essentially not just shut himself down last year for Michigan when they weren't winning, but that he was like avoiding competition and like purposely not wanting to go against players because he thought he was going to get exposed last year in Michigan. So if NFL teams know that you're hurt, you didn't run a 40, so you even know what your long speed is, and long speed for you is a concern. And you might have purposely like set out because you were afraid to go against an opposing player. Me, as a fan, if I was an evaluator, I would want absolutely nothing to do with you.
Hell no. At cornerback? Nah, bro. You got to have a certain mentality at that position, man. I don't want that. No. But it's crazy, though. So good in 2023, bro. Like if he came out after that year, in a top 5 pick,
top 5.
Top 10 at least.
Yeah. Well, that was a heavy quarterback draft. The top 10 for sure. Yeah.
So how do you go from that to that? And the fact that he missed out on the first round, that means teams took him off the board. Like
they're bored.
You're not even in consideration. Like, so that's how bad it had to be. That's all I'm saying. Jim Harbaugh passed on. Jim Harbaugh.
Will Johnson is a player where I say, Jim. No, yeah, right. Is if I am okay with him going to another team and him flourishing, because my biggest concern with Will Johnson on the Saints is that Will Johnson on the Saints would be a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you that right now.
Right.
He if the Bucs were to draft Will Johnson, he'd probably become All-Pro because they have the infrastructure in place
Bucks, Eagles,
Ravens, Niners.
Like, yeah, okay, it'll work out.
Chiefs. But if he went to a team that's not in a place that has good infrastructure, that I'm telling you guys, like, please listen to me and
look at that picture.
Please listen to me and trust me. It is not going to work out. All that to say, I do know he is one of the players that is in consideration of players that they might that they're considering drafting at 40. Demetrioso Turk, I'm not pronouncing that correctly.
Thank you
for the $4.99 super chat. Chances they take Milroe. That's all I can hope for now.
Real.
So there's a list. It's a pretty lengthy list of players that may be in their consideration for 40. So this is what I heard this morning. So it's a lengthy list. Essentially all three quarterbacks. So that means Shedeur, it means Milroe, and yes, it means Tyler Shuck as well. Nick, what is it? Amor Rossi? I'm not pronouncing it. The South Carolina safety. Amor Rossi? I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Will Johnson, Mike Green. They're doing work on corners, so that to me would indicate probably Benjamin Morrison, excuse me, and Revo from Eastern Carolina. And then there are also a group of running backs and tight ends that they also like at 40. Wasn't given names for running backs and tight ends, but you could probably use your imagination. I would guess, again, was not given names, but I would guess Mason Graham. And there's like a plethora of running backs that so many, like Henderson, Judkins, if they wanted to go that route as well. I wonder at this point, if it goes, if Jeff goes, all right, y'all niggas got what y'all wanted in round one.
Let me take over.
I need to do something. I don't know what that something is.
Cornerback.
That's just special, bro. That's just special. Because, also, can we go back to the first round real quick? Hearing where their cloud was back in January to hearing where their cloud ended up in, so fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. So their cloud back in January, from what I heard, was Mason Graham, Tetaroa, Abdul Carter, Will Johnson. Okay. So those are the four players I was told. This is back in January. The players that they ended up finalized cloud. But this cloud seems like more of a Kellen and Mickey collaboration, not Jeff, from what I could tell. Mason Graham, Banks, Mimbu, Tet was in the cloud, Genty was in the cloud, and I'm maybe blanking on a player.
J-Lock don't know those.
No. I may be blanking on a player. So there are some things that tells me that Kellen's voice did weigh in more in the process. Because I was told had Genty fell to 9, the only way that he would have been drafted is if Kellen made it happen. So the fact that Genty ended up being in the final cloud tells me that his voice had weight, which is, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's a good thing, right? But so many of the players I just named, Mason Graham being one, or Mason Graham excluding, so many of those players are offensive linemen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mimbu, Banks. Oh, Will Campbell. That was another one.
Yeah. And look, I mean, Kellen Moore, he spent years with the Dallas Cowboys, especially when they had one of the better offensive lines in the NFL.
He worked for them.
And, he had when he the Eagles, obviously. So, I mean, he's approaching it correctly. Like, you need to be strong in the trenches, which is a correct approach. It just, like the analogy I said was like going to the mechanic dropping $1,000 get something to fix on your car, then it's still not working. And so even though it sucks, you still got to bring it back to the mechanic to really fix the issue. The problem with the Saints is they keep bringing it back to the same mechanic.
Same mechanic,
it's
bro.
like, what changed? Like, the admission that you failed on Trevor Penning, that look, Cesar Ruiz is a starter. I get it. But it's like, that was a first-round pick, man. That was a first-round pick. And look, Cesar Ruiz is...
I know Jeff mad at that too, bro.
Like, he's replaceable. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing. That was a Sean Payton thing, where Sean pulled rank because he was mad at Larry Warford. And Jeff, like, in the corner, like, man, if y'all would have just drafted Jonathan Taylor, we could have had Jonathan Taylor pair with AK. We could have had a run game that was formidable for years to come. Like, I know Jeff, like, why do I even build the board, bro?
Real, man. But at the end of the day, I'm interested to see how all this works out. Like, does Kevin Banks end up playing left tackle or left guard?
Bruh, he got to start on tackle. There's no way you could take a player.
Do you move him to
9?
Do you move him to right tackle, or do you go and flip Fuaga back to right tackle and move Kevin Banks?
I think so, bro.
Is Kelvin Banks a better prospect than Fuaga was at tackle? I didn't watch a ton of Banks, so I can't say. It's just like,
I would guess. I haven't asked my friend. I would guess that their understanding, their logic is, we're going to put Banks at left tackle. We're going to put Fuaga back at his natural spot at right tackle. So the whole Penning experience, that's solved. So that's solved. Right guard, you got Ruiz. You have Eric McCoy at center, and then at left guard, you got Salsa Verde. You got Radez as a free agent that they signed, and then you can put Penning at left guard and just have a 3-man open competition, Brian. Whoever is the best player who wins it out, and that's your best 5.
And I hope it's good, bro. You talking about first round pick left tackle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, left guard, whatever. Second round pick center.
Mm-hmm.
First round pick right guard.
Mm-hmm.
First round pick right.
I need the O line to be a weapon, bro.
That line gotta be good, bro.
A weapon. It needs to be pristine. And if it's not top 5, top 6, then we need to have a conversation.
Real.
And if it's not top 5, top 6, Mickey Loomis needs to lose his job.
Because that's heavy investment. We're talking about a 9th overall pick. 9th overall pick. Last year,
Wait, hold on. We got a $4.99 super chat, and Dante deleted the message? What did it say, Dante?
I said, you costing us money, brother.
I mean, we'll take $4.99.
You still get the $4.99, right?
Dante said, I'll Venmo you niggas $5. I guess it'll be okay. Just again, and so like that's where, I'm not up here to bash Kelvin Banks. I watched one game of his this morning. I watched what game was it? Them versus Michigan, Texas versus Michigan this season. Looks like a damn good left tackle, bro. Looks like a damn good left tackle. People like showing like how he played against Will Anderson as a freshman at Texas, and he went against Will Anderson that game. Went against Dallas Turner that game. Dante said I was trying to like it and hit the wrong button. This nigga.
Just drop your question again.
Yeah, my bad, Matt. And this nigga just. So we always ask about like what's the vision, and in theory, like I see what the vision is, but then it's like, okay, but then who's driving the ship? Who's driving the ship? If in theory this is what the offensive line is, and this is what it looks like, who's the captain?
I mean, you got Mickey fingerprints all over it. So
all over, bro.
That's not a good look. That's not a good look to me. Mickey is not a football guy. He's not.
So why is he making football decisions?
Like, just get out of the way. Making football decisions, making basketball decisions. Like, get out of the way, bro. Why is Willie Green?
Why, nigga? Why?
Why Willie Green in the draft room?
This nigga won 20 games in an 82-game season last year, and he in the draft room? In the draft room.
For what?
Make it make sense, bro.
Synergy. They're like, oh, this is synergy right here.
Regine Lewis, $5 super chat, Canadian. Oh, Canada, appreciate you. Saints have spent like 7 picks on O-line since 2014. If Penny ends up being the one true bust and Reese being okay, then that's a good hit rate to me. I don't think they have it. That's not a good hit rate because you're okay, but like I think you're losing sight that to get Penning, they traded a future first round pick that became Jalen Carter. Like you can't leave that out. You cannot leave that out. And like that's a huge thing. It wasn't like they just drafted Trevor Penning.
That Penning pick was
in the first round.
That pick and
trade set the franchise back.
Well, they did because they did the trade, not even knowing who would be there.
Right.
So it's like, and it was a panic move because they had to let Teron Armstead leave.
Yep.
So it was a need. I'm telling you, anytime you go in the draft begging for a need, bro, it usually ends up in disaster.
But then you could also then argue, then they draft Penning, and then he's so bad, so then they go into this draft with the need at right tackle, and they can tell me all day that, oh no, like Kevin Banks was our best player available, blah blah blah. Like he's still a need pick. Like there's no way you can piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like it's a need pick.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it would be incredible, bro, if they put Trevor Penning at left guard, just to give him. And what if he just flashed, bro? What if he became Mekhi Becton?
Because we know he plays with attitude. It's just all about everything coming together as far as his feet and just consistency and all that stuff. So that'd be awesome, bro. Like I hope, look, Kellen Moore talked about getting the best 5 on the field and having a good offensive line core. If we could get to that point, that's just where the Saints are back to having just good, consistent offensive line play, with the offensive line as a weapon, and Kelvin Banks ends up being like a major part of that. Props to him, man. It'll end up being a good move. But like Adam pointed out, it's just a process of getting here.
That's it. Like Matt, and the super chat question was, are the Saints totally out on Shedeur at 40? No, they're not. Like I said earlier, like all 3 quarterbacks are in consideration for the Saints at 40. So when I say all 3, that means Shedeur, that means Jalen Milroe, that means Tyler Shough.
You think Cleveland goes Shedeur at 33?
I think they'd probably be more inclined to go Milroe, bro.
Think so?
I just can't see him in the Cleveland condition.
Then where does Sanders go? Like, seriously, like, at what point is the fall too far? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, both me and you agreed that he was more of a second round type talent.
Right.
But it's like, okay, like now where does he go? Like, say he gets past the Saints at 40. I guess the Steelers again. I mean,
yeah, they don't have a second round pick.
Oh,
right. Hold on.
Yeah,
they traded it
for DK.
For DK.
Yeah,
so they don't have a second round pick. I don't know, bro.
James Smart. Thank you, James. Thank you.
Mickey Loomis loves hustling backwards. Just a downright terrorist.
Facts.
Paul, $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you to make up for these Stephen mods. SPP keep crushing it. Really in the game.
Love you, Paul.
Appreciate you. So at 40, I'm gonna ask you this.
Let me pull up my list.
Other players that I told you who's in consideration. The 3 quarterbacks, the super athletic safety, Nick Amarazi, whatever I'll say it. Mason. I wasn't told Mason Taylor by name, but just think of like the running backs and tight ends that are going to be in that area. Will Johnson, Revel, Benjamin Morrison, like who? Emma Rory. Thank you. Like if I see it, I can say it, but like if I can't see it, thank you, Anthony. Who is the player that you would want the most? That you would want the most at 40?
I'm gonna go. Non-quarterback, I would go Mason Taylor.
No, you can put quarterback in there.
Quarterback, I would want Miro. Non-quarterback, I would want Mason Taylor. If they decide not to go quarterback, give me Mason Taylor.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with you. I almost said just because I love him as a player, I almost said Judkins because man,
Oh man, I
love me some Quinshon.
But it's like I don't know.
But this running back class is so deep, and we've already seen running backs have already started to slide a little bit.
Because people thinking like they might get 3 or 4 in the first round. No, I mean it went 2. You had Omarion and and Gentry, of course. But I mean, running back is still deep,
bro. Like teams are going to be drafting running backs.
Trayvon Henderson, Dalen Sampson, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson, Scatterboo, Etienne, Jaden Blue going to be later. Damian Martinez, Ollie Gordon probably going to be 7th round or some shit.
My draft base, Todd Brooks going to be like round 6, round 7, and like
RJ Harvey, my draft base,
bro.
Come on, man, Todd Brooks. You got so many, bro. Like
the one player, I could talk myself into Will Johnson because of the talent. The one player for me, like I wouldn't love Will Johnson. The one player I hope that they don't draft at all is Mike Green.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, y'all.
Spidey sense is tingling,
bro. When I was at his podium at the combine, you can give me Nick Scorton, you can give me Landon Jackson.
I'm technically Scorton right now.
You can give me anyone else at 40 at edge rusher. Keep Mike Green away from my team. It's just something about him. It was just this feeling that like I want nothing to do with him, bro. I literally want nothing to do with him.
Trust your instincts, man.
And I'll give you, and I've said this story on the podcast because I was told this story years ago from my friend that 2017 draft class when the Saints were doing draft prep. Sean Payton met with Deshaun Watson, and this was obviously before anything came out. He met with them, and at that point, like Deshaun Watson was thought of like a very, very great kid, who just nothing. And Sean had just this feeling about him. He didn't know what it was, couldn't tell you what it was, but he just had this feeling about him. He was just like, nah, there's something about him. There's just something about him. And sure enough,
saw through that shit.
Whatever it was, he knew it. And so, being at that podium at that Mike Green presser at the combine, I would just no. And we'll see what happens at 40. But, bruh, they took Mike Green at 40. I would be disgusted.
Tons of tight end love. You got Mason Taylor, Elijah Arroyo, Harold Fannin, Ferguson. You got Gunnar Helm. Oh my goodness, man.
So that's why, like, again, the Banks pick is one pick, and everything. Everyone's so the I will say the surprising thing. Not surprising, maybe not greatly. Everyone's like saying like, oh, like Jaden Higgins and things change, right? Things change all the time. Because I was told a couple of years ago that they were really like they were going to draft Brian Branch, and then Mickey Loomis comes and changes it. So I know Jeff Ireland getting fed up, bro. Like I'm telling all these stories, and like
it's crazy.
I know Jeff like
dang.
Jeff gonna just walk out of the office, bro. Just walk into traffic, bro.
He probably got like highlights of the players that he told them to put.
No, he do, bro. Or think about the players that he's actually drafted that's worked out. That's just no longer with the team anymore, bro. Jack Bond, CD Deuce. He just be like, what am I doing with my life? Mark, the Vince McMahon line. Come on out, you rapist. I have not heard that the Saints have. I'm not saying that they're not going to draft a receiver, but like I haven't heard them being interested in a receiver at 40. Doesn't mean that can change. It can absolutely change.
A lot of Luther Burden's still out there, which is not
one of my draft bays. Anything. Let's venture away from the Saints a little bit. Let's wrap this up. Things that happened in the first round that just.
I mean, obviously the trade in the beginning, which I just love that, man. Like I just love when something like that happens.
Love it, bro.
But it was funny because the board kind of still fell. Like we thought, Travis Hunter went to at 5. Well, everybody was saying Mason Graham goes to the Jags. Well, he went to the Browns.
That trade was crazy because it ties into those things. Because if that trade doesn't happen, the Jags take Genty,
Right.
and the Raiders take
Banks.
And
then it's like, wonder what happens then.
That's a great question. Because I think
because then Tet was off the board.
I think then they have to fall back to Jeff Ireland. Because at that point, all the players pretty much all the offensive linemen that they wanted were off the board.
Right.
So they would have probably had to follow Jeff's plan. So I think at that point the pick would have been Mikael Williams or Jalen Walker. Because I don't know who Jeff had over who, to be fair.
Yeah. Tet going to Carolina. I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see. Colston Loveland going to the Bears.
Oh, Dante said the Jags and the Browns had that deal in place since April 7th.
Damn.
Impressive they were able to keep it under wraps.
Wow.
Man.
I love it for the Jags, but at the same time, that 2026 first round pick, it could be your top 5 again. Like it was top 5 this year. And we'll see. We'll see. But Travis Hunter is like, to me, has a Hall of Fame like possibility. So,
one of my surprises, and I think the Browns got it right. Everyone talked about Mason Graham slipping and falling, bro.
Got him, bro.
Took him at 5.
I know Greg not a fan, bro. I'm like, man, that dude.
That's a dog, bro. You put him right in the middle. You put him right next to Myles Garrett. Ooh. And that to me shows a team that has a vision. Whatever. Like, I don't think Andrew Berry is like the greatest GM, obviously, for a plethora of reasons. But in that division, you have to figure out, okay, how do we stop Lamar Jackson? How do we stop Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. We got Mason Graham. And in theory, Mason Graham, might then now free up Myles Garrett to do other, like, that's a vision, right?
And you got two picks in the second round, at the top of the second round.
2 picks in the second round this draft, and 2 first-round picks next year. So even if they decide to punt on a quarterback in the second round,
they could potentially have 2 top 5 picks next year. Because the Browns still might be bad this year, bro.
Marcelo said the Browns could have had Hunter and Sanders. I mean, they might still be able to have Hunter and Sanders today.
Well, Sanders, the Browns.
That's what I said. Yeah. Well, maybe Sanders' arm in that Cleveland condition that was win, bro.
I don't know, but he also, like Stefanski. I could see Stefanski kind of work with him. He's worked with, Kirk Cousins in the past and stuff. So I don't know.
I don't know.
It's fascinating. But the Bears, Colston Love, like I just love
Ben about to cook, bro.
Ben Johnson he about to have Caleb Williams
cooking, bro. Got Colston Loveland with Cole Kmet. They fixed their offensive line in the offseason. I just love a team that has a vision and a plan. And I'm not saying, well, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it, when I start seeing it together. But like, at least with teams like the Bears, it is very clear early what the vision and the plan is. Right? Like, it's like, oh, okay. I know what they about to do.
I love how things kind of play out as they should.
Yes.
We talked about Shedeur Sanders was a second round talent.
Talked about it, bro.
Falls out the first round. Tyler Warren.
Tape don't lie, bro.
We talked about Tyler Warren ad nauseum, like, good player, but damn, a top 10, top 5 player? I don't see it. He goes, 14 to the Colts, which is great fit, great pick. Like, I love it. I love that. Yep. It just makes sense. So I love when, like, after all the mock drafts and all the talk, it just things fall into places they should be for the most part.
So you say that, right? Tyler Shough.
That's what we about to see. We about to find that out today. If that's bullshit, if that's plants, as you like to say.
No, that's not me. That's our dude Jake. Jake came up with that.
If that's a draft plant, or if that's real, we about to find out today. I ain't buying it. I do not believe.
Regine Lewis says, "Let's not get carried away. The Bears have not done anything of note in like a decade and a half. Let's pump the brakes." I'm not. No one's putting the Bears in the NFC Championship game. I'm just saying that it's the vision of what
you can see the vision.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
And as a fan of football,
that you can't see the vision for a team that we've been asking for years. What's the vision
since 2020?
It's nice to see.
Now, I'm sure the Saints will tell you that, our vision is that we build in the trenches and we build like that's
who's the quarterback. Who is the quarterback? How you have a vision? You can't even you can't even have an honest conversation in a press conference about the situation with your quarterback.
Oh, I'm not answering any of our Derek Carr questions. This is a pre-draft This is a pre-draft presser.
Stop.
Gonna swear to God, like the way he addresses and talks to Cat, bro, smack shit out.
Smack shit out.
Shut up, bro.
Cat be cool with him. I'm like,
man. What else I wanted to ask you? Falcons. I see you doing that. Okay. They gave up a future first round pick to trade back up to draft James Pierce Jr. So they
back it up, Terry.
They all offseason address defense, address pass rush, address defense, address pass rush. Here's what I will say though. When you're a team that has already drafted your quarterback and you feel like you have your quarterback of the future, you can get a little freaky. You can get a little freaky. Now I'm not saying I'm advocating for to trade a future first round pick for an edge rusher.
Especially if James Pierce.
Greg said Terry went full Loomis. He said, "You never go full Loomis, bro."
The fact that Loomis is a negative epithet now is like, but it's true though. But you know what I'm saying? Like I love Jalen Walker. Wasn't like crazy about James Pierce, but I could see the intrigue there. And I hate the Falcons, so I hated the move. I love that they gave up a future first round pick. I hope it goes terrible for them. But I hated. I just hated seeing that because they've been stalling for pass rushes for years, bro. And they got some juice now. They got some juice. We'll see if it works. I'm hoping it don't work.
Team I want to talk about the Giants.
Hey, how long we been saying the Giants dart? Giants dart.
Bro, I called it in January. I was thinking top 10. It didn't go top 10, but
the connection was there.
Connection was there, man. I just felt it. I was told something early that the Giants really liked Dart all the way back in January.
Yeah. When I saw that trade up last night, I'm saying that's Dart.
Oh, it's Dart, bro.
That's Dart.
The fact that you get Abdul Carter, I was told that their plan is to, they picked up Kayvon Thibodeau, fifth-year option. Their plan is to hold on to him throughout and up until the trade deadline. You can kind of see what they have.
See what it is. Just smart.
And then, listen, man, Joe Shane got a lot of deserved heat last offseason. But at least this is how it's set up with Dart and what he has in front of him. And what they traded up to go back and get Dart, which was chump change, really. Yeah. Like, it was nothing.
And if I recall correctly, the last year draft class was pretty good.
Yeah. Malik, Tyrone Tracy, Theo Johnson, and they have a safety that I'm blinking on.
The defensive line look good. Like, it's coming along, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they might still get fired after this year.
Right.
But, look, Abdul Carter, I feel like he could be like potentially be like a Von Miller type pass rusher. And you get Jackson Dart. You're not forced to start Jackson Dart early. You got Russell Wilson. You got Jameis Winston in the building. It just makes sense. And I think Daboll will work well with Jackson Dart.
Well, that's what Anthony just said. The real question is Daboll around next year to see it play out? Might not be, bro.
Might not be. I mean, it's just a game, bro. But if that's the thing. Like, if Dart, I wonder, like, was Dart a Daboll push to like save his job, or was that like an ownership thing, like with Sean Payton, where it's like, we need y'all to get a quarterback?
So I was okay. So I got intel for every team in the 32. So let me pull it up. So 3. Okay. Oh, so this is about the Jets. Owner wants a quarterback within the first 2 days, but won't mandate they take at 3. We'll take Abdul Carter. Kayvon will have his 5th-year option picked up and remain on the team until at least the trade deadline, which I just said. They hope to have a top 5 defense. So, like, that's we don't see Gale doing anything like that for the Saints.
No.
So John Mara comes out, and so we know with the Broncos last year, like you just said, Broncos told Sean Payton, you have to draft a quarterback in the first round. That was a owner by the mandate of the Broncos. So this year, the owner of the Giants told their team, told the staff, you got to draft a quarterback within the first 2 rounds. It don't got to be a 3, but you got to draft a quarterback in the first 2 rounds. Why is nobody doing that for the Saints?
Nobody, bro. What did the Giants give up?
Oh, somebody got to look it up and tell me. But it was not that much.
So they didn't give up a first?
No. It was crazy because they didn't give up a first, but then right after them, the Falcons did. Shout out to Colin Andrews, 499 Super Chat. J-Rock, are the Giants trying to move Kayvon Thibodeau? No, like I just said, they wanted him on the team at least until the trade deadline. The Rook 10. It was like 2/3. Yeah, it was 2/3. Can we, as we kind of close this out, you just kind of recap the teams. Fucking Philadelphia Eagles,
Ryan. I know it, bro. I knew Jahad Campbell will fall to either the Ravens or the Eagles or just somebody because it's just like, of course.
The Ravens get Malachi Starks.
Of course.
The Eagles get Jahad Campbell. How good. If you want to look at how good teams stay good and how bad teams stay bad, you juxtapose. It's crazy.
It's crazy, bro.
Rajon Lewis said, "Our Campbell's medical is bad." Some teams were a little scared of his shoulder injury because they felt that he may have to start the season, or start training camp, or maybe the season on PUP.
Yeah.
And if you're the Eagles, like, you fine with that.
Right.
Because before got hurt, I'm blanking on his name. He was a Georgia linebacker. I'm blanking on his name. But he was finally like breaking out.
Yeah.
Next to Bond, and then he got hurt. So if he's expected to be back, like, you don't got to rush Jahad Campbell at all.
You don't, man. Let him get healthy.
Bro.
And you got Zach Bond, who you just picked.
Thank you. Dean.
Yeah, Dean. You got Zach Bond that just got paid. You got Jahad Campbell, who could play off-ball linebacker and edge. So you got Vic Fangio.
And no Smith out. Oh, no. Vic Fangio, bro. He's about to go stupid, bro.
Sick of this shit.
Whoops. A player that plays like that. Like, that's why the Jalon thing, who knows? Jalon, his size might not work out, or
yeah, we'll see,
or whatever.
We'll see,
man. We'll see. But anything else?
Man, ready for this day 2. We got 3 picks today for now. 3 picks. Do they get a quarterback? Do they go mirror?
Will Johnson medicals is the only reason he's still available day 2. It's not just his medicals. It's not just his medicals. Please believe me. Please. Okay, so I asked you who you want them to draft. I'm going to ask you, who do you think they just? Don't give me round 3. I don't care about anything more. Oh, I do care about round 3, but like, who do you think they draft at 40?
Honestly, position. I think Jeff Ireland gonna get his, and they gonna go get Nick Amorari or whatever.
Oh, you
go get a safety. Just
meat potatoes draft, bro.
Just that meat potatoes. Jeff Ireland, he gonna get his. So they'll go get the safety, which I haven't watched him at all. I don't know. Just that second round DB, bro.
Ben Goodwin said Lindsey Theory went on NFL Live earlier and said the Saints aren't going to force a quarterback in round 2.
Okay.
Maybe. I think the thing that when it comes to the Saints, and this is not, let's say this. It's not what I think. What I know when it comes to the Saints is that right now, no one knows when it comes to the Saints because there are so many people driving the ship.
Exactly.
So when things get leaked to the media, that might be the case for 1 minute,
right.
but like that can change. Like that's the issue and the problem right now.
Exactly. So you could think you're getting the front office take or the coach's take, but really it's so divided.
So divided
right now where there is no consensus right now.
Shit, that might be my new Twitter profile picture, bro. The draft room picture, bro. Just
I need somebody to paint it to look like the Da Vinci.
Shout out to you, Neil. Who dat? See y'all tonight. Hope someone else drafts Shook.
Love you, Neil.
Too many chefs in the kitchen. But we'll see. Anything else before we wrap up? We appreciate y'all joining us as we recap the draft.
Man, just mentioning the we had the draft meetup last night.
Man, thank y'all for coming through.
So many of our familiar faces showed up. A couple of new faces showed up. Shout out to y'all for coming through.
For sure.
Man, it was dope. Just vibes. Don't even matter if you was disappointed about the Saints pick or not, man. We was all just having a good time, eating, drinking, getting drunk. A lot of us had our girls there, whatever. It was dope, man. I just appreciate it. I look forward to that more than anything. Throw the draft picks out of there. Like, this is what I look forward to.
How funny is it that when we started this podcast in 2020 and did this, right, the player that they drafted was a fucking offensive lineman. And fast forward 5 fucking years later, and not a fucking thing has changed.
Not a damn thing, man. Not a damn thing.
Doc 54 199 super chat. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Doc.
Do y'all think the Saints stay at 40? I do. I don't think they're gonna try to maneuver up or anything like that.
Maybe.
Mr. O Universe. Wait, Carr wanted 50 large? 50 of them.
50 M's, bro.
50 of them.
Who gonna give them that?
Anyhow, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back. We're probably not going to recap round 2 and 3. We'll see.
Yeah.
Keep it that.
Okay, they draft me a role. I got to say something.
Gotta say something. Yeah. So we'll see. It'll be to be determined. So we'll see where we are tonight, see what the vibe is, but we'll for sure be doing a full breakdown tomorrow. So we're doing 2 episodes tomorrow. We're doing like a draft review where that's kind of like rapid reaction, us, talking about the draft picks. We'll do a more in-depth one, like us actually like after we watch the draft picks and doing that. That'll be later. So we'll do a rapid reaction one tomorrow. But also tomorrow we're going to do a part 2 that's only going to be Patreon only, YouTube only episode where the nitty gritty, the intel, what the front office was thinking, like all the scoops and the details. That's going to be Patreon only, YouTube member only. So we're dropping 2 episodes tomorrow. I have like a 5:40 a.m. flight tomorrow. But
tomorrow? What do you mean?
Saturday morning. So I'll get back to LA like at 8:30, and then we'll figure it out. But we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Love all the support. But we got y'all covered as always. So with that, we are out.
Peace.